Let's play Shane Lowry at a major bingo. Be on the front page of the leaderboard. Yell at a volunteer. Yell at a fan. Get mad at an old volunteer. Bingo bongo.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Code Mayo. Underdog right now get you a deposit bonus of up to $1,000 to get you a free pick in the Pick'em game this weekend. And give me your favorite long shot or first round leader down in the comment section, or rate and review the audio podcast, or sub to Mayo Media Network, or share around any PME US Open content on social media, and you'll get into a draw for a few boxes of these sweet Pro VX Underdog balls. Maybe some more stuff coming in the later weeks too, in terms of equipment that you might want to get yourself into. PXG is a sponsor on this show, so maybe PXG might have a driver or something lined up for someone, so it's best to get into these draws. All right, we're going to be going through everything at the US Open. The course, the picks, who's Anderkirch, who's not, a recap of the live show from this weekend, but we also need to start with Canada, my National Open, Geoff Fienberg's National Open. We didn't get to go out there despite being in Toronto over the weekend. We were busy with the live show, but we heard bad reports Thursday and Friday, although things did seem to pick up over the weekend in terms of the actual experience of going. And to watch the playoff, people were amped up for the playoff, Geoff.
Yeah, I mean, like you, I heard nothing but horror stories from Thursday or Friday, but come the weekend, I stopped hearing anything that was going on in the outside world. So I still haven't really caught up on that part. But it seemed like another fun finish, another good champion. Sort of really pissed at myself because I had some small thing like exotic stuff with Fox, but he wasn't on my card. At Burns, at Cam Young. It's really kind of frustrating, but hey, RBC is another fun open, I guess. I was like in and out of sleep too before the playoff as well. Like between when Burns finished his round and Fox finishing, I was like knocked out from the weekend.
I had
Power napping.
I had Cam champ, and what listen, if he had won, it would have been a lot of money. But I just needed him to finish inside the top 8, so I could get a very, very nice split of that each way. He didn't make a birdie on the back. I don't think he made a birdie on Saturday, and then he didn't make a birdie on the back 9 on Sunday, and came in 9th. That's not fun. And I have a tweet. I'm trying to find it right now. It's after Thorbjornsen WD'd last week. I asked some people. It's like, hey, who are we going to go with here? And I was like, I'm just leaning Fox right now. And of course, you know who I didn't bet? Ryan Fox. That's always fun to put that out there. People crediting me for like hitting a winner. It's like, I didn't hit it though. It's a problem. A lot of people did though. A lot of Ryan Fox tickets. And shout out to
Ryan Fox.
Shout out to Byron for hitting the De Solaire first round chop at 300-1, down from 600-1. And the PME contest winners who got flown to Toronto also had De Solaire because they tailed Byron. So they were fired up for the entire trip.
I love that. There's a lot of Fox bets like on the tips around, the community. A lot of Burns bets, a lot of crossover between Fox and Burns. So a lot of people stress-freeing it. I don't know, Sam, what was it, 5 feet, 6 feet? Fuck, man. Fox hits like the 16-footer, falls in the side door. Shitty putter, best putter misses the 6-footer to win.
Well, they really
kicking the nuts.
They froze him out. They effectively cooled off Burns' putting. He got to spend so much time on the range. He probably should have just stuck over at the practice ring because that's how he got there with that nuclear run in the first place, just making everything. But when Fox went to 18, he was pissed at himself for leaving that. He had to lay up, and then he left the wedge short and had that 17-footer that he ended up making. But the hole before, he drills it like 213 to 6 feet under the hole. He has the uphill putt, and it legitimately comes nowhere near the hole. I just figured on 18 he was just cooked. Like it just bad mental vibes for missing a 6-foot putt by so much.
Yeah, I mean, at least like the 17-footer's far enough. You kind of just like can hit a cleaner stroke. But yeah, Fox, that was such a pathetic stroke. You could see it off the blade. How weak it was. Maybe, the weeks without Scottie, we joke. It's no secret. Those are the weeks. You hit your numbers to hit. So, you got to make good on those weeks because there's money out there.
I'd like to get some of that money. That'd be nice for once. Maybe we can do it this week at the U.S. Open. Probably not, though. Probably not a lot. I mean, I'll find out in the comment section who people like as a long shot. I have a long shot or two, but I don't even know the most effective way to play them. Like, do I want to play like a long shot outright with the top 8 and hope they come T6 or something?
Maybe you have to play the placings. I don't want to get right now. I don't want to get sucked into the without Scottie market. Not because I don't think. Well, sure, if like I can find some great math and the value works, but like I don't like betting into markets that are so inauthentic to the outcome. I feel if that makes any sense.
No, explain what you mean by that.
Like there are so many variables down the stretch that like there's so many times in a golf tournament where the person who finished second wasn't the person who should finish second, and the person who finished second, just sort of has to do something to try to win or something. Like it just, let's say you're even winning for 3.5 days, and then Scottie finally catches you and then passes you. And then, like, by 15, after sleeping on the lead for 2 days, you're just fucking done. And something happens. So that's all. Yeah. I feel like that variable in that market is almost worth as much as like the Scottie points. In my head,
I feel like that is only really relative to the best players, and if you're taking long shots, I don't think that's as big of a thing. Where the
top 8, like the each ways, absolutely for sure. This is more about like the specific win without
without Scottie market. That if Rahm is there,
I wasn't really talking about the place.
So what you're talking about is at the PGA Championship when Rahm is tied for the lead, Scottie gets up a little bit. Rahm knows that he needs to press. He doesn't really care about coming in second. He cares about coming in first. Therefore, he has the shots that make him come in 8th.
Yeah, just like we watch golf enough to know. I know this is such a dumb thing because the numbers are the numbers, the score is the score. Like, no, if the guy comes in second place, he deserved second place. But I've seen enough situations where it's like, you've been in second place for 27 of the last 35 holes, and then just you're out of gas. I don't know. I'm just a mental midget right now because I don't know what to do. You got your Bryson 12. I'm kind of hoping this place is such a shit show that it narrows the gap. But last time we were here, Dustin Johnson, as far as I was concerned, was the best player in the world, and he won pretty comfortably. So while I'm not betting Scottie, I don't even think I'm betting Bryson at these like 8 to 1s or whatever it is today. Don't want to bet Rory.
Well, we'll get
into where that leaves me. I don't know where that leaves me, and I don't trust the other guys.
Don't forget, I believe Lowry had a 4-stroke lead or a 3-stroke lead going into the final round at Oakmont last time.
He did. US Open's like Twitter feed put the whole thing out in like a video, the whole round. So I pretty much watched it, all Dustin shots. So you watch that lead go down quickly. And everyone talks about Dustin getting the incident where, maybe he's taking a penalty, maybe he isn't. He got the most ridiculous free drop on 10. And rewatching that too, like right out of the rough into the first cut, he would have no shot of really advancing that ball. So hey, it's all about dem breaks, I guess. Who's gonna get him this week? And especially at major championships, they got these goddamn infrastructure and towers everywhere. I'm not kidding. It almost feels like, whoever's gonna win this thing, we're gonna get some great free relief. It's part of the wheel of losers.
I feel like that works out. This is another reason when I get to my Bryson explanation of why, there's reasons to like Bryson beyond that, but his misses are so big, he might just get free drops. That would be great.
Yeah. It's possible. I guess it is for all of them. I don't know. I'm in a pretzel here because there are very few golfers I actually trust to win a golf tournament.
And this seems to be the one where you need the most trust in order to win. with this U.S. Open setup.
You would think so. But I have these moments because when you look at the leaderboard from last time, after Dustin, like, yes, there's obviously a lot of talk about the European flair. But after that, it seems like a lot of guys who do plot around golf courses.
A lot of accuracy guys on that leaderboard.
Yeah.
And listen, I've done 3 shows already. I talked to Andrew Novak about it. That was the first thing that he brought up. Keith kind of pointed to it, but he was a bit in the middle. And then even Blickel from playing Oakmont in 2015 said there are spots where you can miss with distance, but just it's paramount to keeping it on the fairway because greens and regulation are going to be at a premium this week. And if you don't hit greens and regulation, like that's the one that I'm looking at right now. Like, yeah, good drives. Out of the top 20 guys last time around, only 2 of them lost accuracy to the field, and it wasn't by much. And only 2 guys lost in greens or regulation gained. Like, it's all about greens and reg. Hopefully you don't 3-putt. That's how you stay around even par. And as Novak said in the interview I did with him, he's like, if you take even par right now, he's like, I think I got a pretty good shot at winning.
That would be incredible. I can't wait. I like this tournament more than the Masters.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
How come?
Because shit gets crazy. Like, it seems like a lot more of like a firecracker week than the Masters, which is so like pristine and perfect. And I like seeing these guys get their ass kicked, and especially like a U.S. Open at Oakmont will rank ahead of the Masters for me, for sure. They're always great. They feel special. The Masters, I mean, obviously the Masters is like all the tradition and like it's like a 1A, 1B thing. Like, let's not make a big thing about it. And then there's a lot of definitive gaps. Well, then C Open, and then I probably even have the Ryder Cup next, but that's just me. Yeah, I'm super fired up for this, but as a golf bettor, I don't really know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. I don't.
You had money on Cam Young at or in Canada. Did you get to watch him live on 18? Because what you talked about with the out Scottie market, it's funny because that kind of happened to Cam Young. He was trying to set himself up for eagle to win the tournament, which he would have had he have made an eagle, and it caused him to make bogey.
Well, no, because here's the thing. Cam Young hits it so far, he could have actually gone for it. And I saw his post game. He was just crushed, as he should be. He's like, I hit 2 perfect shots on that hole. The drive was perfect, and no one would like, he did not think he could even carry that green. He said in the air, he's like, I think I have 12, 14 feet for eagle to win the golf tournament, is what he said. Like, listen, class act, you have heartbreak on the golf course, you speak. Just, you just for a couple minutes. He's like, I'm like, he was sad, he's angry, but he acknowledged that, but he took the time to speak, and he's like, was devastated because in the air, he thought I was going to have 12, 14 feet for eagle. No one, probably even the broadcasters, didn't think that ball could fly that far. So that's tough. And then he was fucked.
Well, we're going to talk about Rory because we kind of skipped over him in the Canadian Open section. When we get to the top odds, more of a breakdown, getting to all of the players in the field at Oakmont. But first, we need to find out who was cursed and who was not cursed, and recap the live show and our golf outing together with one, Mr. Tim Cust.
Tim Cust.
Not my name.
Sir, you were the star of the weekend. How do you feel?
Oh, I don't know if that's true. I was a member of a group of people who had a fantastic weekend. Everybody was so nice. And I hope if you were a guest, I got a chance to visit with you and shake your hand. I tried to talk to everybody there that I could, that I didn't recognize, or that like weren't like friends or colleagues or whatever. So like, if I didn't get a chance to shake your hand and say hi, I'm sorry. But for those people that I did meet, they were all, without exception, just wonderful people. Thank you for coming. Thank you for all the kind words that you had. It was great. I'm still just delighted. I was really, really happy, and I hope you were happy too.
Credit overload for you. You're on credit overload, basking in the afterglow of all the credit you received.
It was amazing.
So it sounds like you might do it again. This may not have been a one-off.
We will see. We will see. It certainly wouldn't be an every year thing. I don't think I have that in me.
It was
But would we ever do it again? Ever? Maybe.
I can attest, and Geoff, you're probably on the same wavelength too. And speaking to Paul and Jared, who are in the studio with me right now, taxing weekend.
Yeah, it took a lot out of me, and like on a different level. I experienced Toronto almost in a way I hadn't experienced it before. Like walking downtown in the calm morning. It was lovely. Yeah, I live here, and I was 25 minutes down the road, and I feel like I've been hit by a bulldozer. I think anyone who came had a fantastic time. I'd be willing to say their expectations were probably exceeded.
I'm going to go with that. Yeah,
I sure
sure.
hope so.
Let's go with that. I'm downloading the show right now, so we're going to try to have it edited for next week, because I do think that there's probably some not safe for even YouTube, Tim, commentary that happened during that show.
There were a few comments that I think should be removed. Yes.
Well, it's going to be exclusive to the people who came. I want to thank everyone again who flew. The amount of people that flew into Toronto who had never been to Canada before just to come see this weird show. It was heartwarming, Tim.
Oh, yeah. You people are actually the stars. I couldn't believe it. Marvelous people who came in from Texas and California and Florida and Pennsylvania and all over Canada. Like, my gracious people. It was so heartwarming. Thank you. And we can't say thank you enough.
Well, we will. Should we talk about before we get into the U.S. Open picks? Tim, we need your picks for the U.S. Open. You spoiled your winner to us on the weekend, but the people don't know this yet. That the three of us did play golf together for the very first time. Geoff, you'd never played with Tim before. What do you make of his game?
Well, it's like a lot of people. There's like highs and lows, and you get off the mat, you sort of get sideways, you can struggle. But then there were moments where I thought he recovered lovely and held his own. And, I was just trying to keep his vibes, positive. But I even forgot about the whole two gloves thing, and seeing it in person on like a hot, smoggy day, truth be told. It's just like, it's a sight to behold. You got like cold weather, hard grip, rain, like gloves.
My highlight was definitely on the first green. As I walked off, there were people coming off the second tee, and there was such warm wishes for the hat that I had on, and it was a conversation starter. And I heard similar comments from people all weekend long, and it's like, yeah. Anyone who's critical of these hats doesn't know what they're talking about.
The block letter hats.
Or they're
people
or
can't
they're like
see
anti, or they're antisocial people who would hate for someone to come up and say hi to you. One or the other.
Usually that's you. You hate when people come up and say hi to you.
Not if they're going to say nice things.
I would much rather just like a soft, elegant logo hat than like the abrasive block lettering if I want to flex about the places I attend, I guess.
And you should flex about the place that you attend. That is a beautiful golf course.
You were very impressed by Oakdale, Tim?
Yeah, give me, just like when you go to the spas or anywhere, you just give me a recap.
I was so impressed by all the things that were in the washroom that you could use in terms of sunscreen and aftershave and soap and razors. Like, that to me was like old school charm. I love the nameplates on the lockers, like the stenciled, the etched names on the nameplates. I loved everything about it. I loved Geoff being on a first name basis with several people on the wait staff. It was great. I loved the free jujubes you could have as you walked in. That was great. Like, the whole experience was fantastic.
Nothing about the course, though.
The course is gorgeous.
It was.
The course is gorgeous. It's challenging. The holes are different enough that you have to hit different shots. But I've been to many beautiful golf courses. I've never been to a clubhouse like that, a country club like that. So that was extremely impressive.
Were you surprised?
Impressed with lunch?
Yeah, lunch was
Yes,
good.
I loved my club sandwich. My club sandwich was great.
Were you
Okay, good.
surprised that we drove around the course and Geoff, who has apparently been a member of this course for 30 years, seemed to have no clue
Shocking.
where he was going?
No, I
Shocking
was
that-
looking for Tim and Kenny's balls. Like that's where my missions were. So maybe sometimes I took the cart in some places. The most awkward spot, it's always a challenging spot between 3 and 4 of Knutson, because you should be given more grace with the cart. But no, I was like, my mission was to make it to, if you or Kenny were off the beaten path, was to try to go help find those balls. And maybe I had a couple of cart recovery, backups, because I went to the old person line. But honestly, my leg, they could give me a blue flag.
There was a group behind us. It was a group of 2 somehow that didn't catch our group of 4 the entire day. And none of you believe me when I saw them play Jeff's ball from the middle of the fairway. You're like, no, that can't be Jeff's ball. They're just playing. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's your ball. I just watched it land there. Then they almost took you out.
Listen. Yeah, I was like, there's no way. Like, I was center cut in the fairway. Nice drive inside the bunker. Not in the bunker, but like in whatever. I think there's like no way. There's no way I'm playing like a clean tailor-made ball. Like there's just no way. And the guy hit it. And I didn't think it would. I was like, I had enough faith in like a fellow member that didn't hit it. But listen, I could get in trouble for this. So don't put this out, A lot of like riffraff with a lot of money, join the club since Nick Taylor hit that putt. Paid the money. We got a bit of a clogging and a little bit of an overcrowding situation at the moment that is being dealt with. People are not pleased. I've never seen that person before. And I'm not saying I know everybody, but faces are faces. But they were enjoying their day, like, smoking their cigars. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, right, whatever. I don't know. That I handled that better than a lot of people would have.
I agree.
I handled that better than a lot of people would have. Both instances, actually, when they hit it right at our tee box. But he thought he had like a 10-foot birdie putt. Sure, pal. Looking around the green for his ball.
What you didn't handle well and made me laugh was your master strategy of bringing everybody's drivers up to the 9th tee at Thompson. Only to leave a club behind yourself and have to drive all the way back down that hole to go get a club. Squandering
I was rattled after we almost got hit, and that tee box didn't go very well either.
No, it did not.
So that was like a consortium of factors that I don't normally deal with. But I thought it was lovely. And
I wanted to steal that driver, by the way.
No, you just buy it. You play twice, you crush that thing. Like at this point, you gotta buy it. It was good. It was good. Listen, would like to have some time in the cart with Tim, but Kenny didn't trust his eyesight to drive the cart alone. And Pat had to get his steps in. So that would be my only letdown. But after speaking with Mr. Mayo, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting my time in the golf cart with Tim.
Yeah, after that went so well playing together, we're going to get Underdog on board. Code Mayo at Underdog, by the way. Then you can win some of these beautiful, in the comment section for this episode, give me your favorite long shot for the US Open. We got some Pro VX Underdog balls to give away. So get yourself down there, rate and review the podcast, leave a comment. That will get you in a review. That will get you in there as well, just like subbing to the YouTube channel. Didn't want to spend this much time on a major championship show talking about this, but I thought that the people would be somewhat intrigued. I thought that Cust was going to walk off the course, I think on number 7, Geoff, when he bladed the ball out of the bunker. His spirits got really dipped at that point.
Yeah, there's a moment you sort of came over. You're like, we got to keep Cust in this thing. And I probably, hooked him some sweet nothings in his ear, just like I do about the Jets. And seemed like
you were
he had
very gracious.
nice...
You're like, no, I'm raking this bunker. You go over to your ball. I'm raking this bunker. It was very gracious of you. Thank
you. See, I even raked rake Tim's bunker.
Knee
For him.
brace and all.
You
I
go
was
play. You
appreciative of that.
finish. Yeah, you take care of what you need to do. I got you covered, Tim. Um,
That was
yeah.
kind.
It was a great time. I had a great time playing with you guys.
The final thing, I mean, we didn't really mention Kenny. Kenny Kim played with us as well. I didn't realize that he was trying to hit a mega draw on every hole, and I just thought he kept aiming super right and blocking it right every time. And then he finally cut one back in instead of hitting it straight.
Yeah, I thought I kind of, I don't know, I kind of got lost in like what I didn't have to like worry about Kenny's feelings on the golf course, I guess. So, was paying a little less attention to him, but he hit some of like the best shots of the day in the like his spectrum of maybe good and bad was like wide, but like some of his best shots were some of the best shots I think I saw out of the group all day.
Well, it was a lot of fun. Let's talk U.S. Open. Tim, your picks for the U.S. Open. Who is going to win at Oakmont this week?
Okay. Well, as always, I give you 3 picks. 2 of these picks are pretty long shots. I'm not going to lie, but I am not here to play it safe. I'm here to play what I think is going to happen. So, my bronze pick, I'm ready for the laughs already, but he won the 2024 Senior Open, and he's been playing good on live. I'm taking Richard Bland.
Richard Bland?
I'll do Wyndham Clark. Like, what are you doing?
Again, go ahead, mock me. He's been playing pretty good golf. He won the Senior U.S. Open. That's why he's here. I think he's the type of Euro who will hit it straight and will be in this contest. So I think he sets up, and I think that one or two older golfers are going to be in the mix here. This is not just going to be a bunch of 20-something-year-old bombers that are going to be in the mix. There's going to be a couple of pick the old person that you like, that you think is going to be there. I'm picking Bland, but if you think Justin Rose is better, go ahead and take him. If you think that, like, pick the older golfers that people sort of would discount at a place like this, and I disagree, because this is the classic U.S. Open track where I don't think if you get out of position off the tee, it doesn't matter how far. It actually doesn't matter how far you've hit it, because you have to pitch it out. You can't actually advance it to the green. So it's far better to be 280 yards in the fairway than 325 in the rough. This is one of the few courses where I think that is the case. So I'm taking Bland.
Okay, so we have a 74-year-old pick on Cust card. Who are you going with your silver pick?
Joaquin Niemann.
Why?
And I just think playing off of the complete narrative that just like when Patrick Reed finally broke through and got a top 10, he won his next major, that Niemann, who I think is a better golfer skill set wise than Patrick Reed, gets a top 10 at the PGA Championship. The next tournament out, he wins a major. And of course, Reed's last that PGA Reed finally got a top 10 in was at Quail Hollow. The same thing is true for Niemann at Quail Hollow. So I'm playing a hunch and playing who I think is one of the top 5 most talented golfers in the world, even if his results in major championships don't match that. This is an opportunity for him, so I'm taking him.
Did you see, Jeff, that Michael Kim tweeted out about the Canadian Open when they changed the pole positions during the playoff, that Patrick Reed would have had something to say about it? And the joke being Patrick Reed hits a big draw, therefore the first pin placement was much better for him. And then I checked out the comments to it, and I don't know if live bots are still a thing or these are just like live super fans who just came to defend Patrick Reed. Like he thought he was like taking a shot at Patrick Reed for something, not realizing what the joke was. It was really strange.
Context can be tough sometimes on Twitter as well.
As lame as it is to move a hole in the playoff, which that was lame. It's hard to understand why that was a good idea. It's still a better playoff solution than what the USGA has now, which is a mystifying 2-hole aggregate playoff, which satisfies nobody.
Sucks.
Let's say like they're not going to go back to the 18-hole playoff, but in your mind, Tim, if it's not the 18 holes, what is the best solution?
What the Open Championship does, which gives you 3 or 4 holes of aggregate golf, and that way, it's just more than 2 holes. It seems like a completely weird, either sudden death or an aggregate of holes. But I mean, the 18 holes made more sense. It's better for everybody. They aren't going to go back to it, but we're so much the worse for it. And I don't have to stand here and pretend like what we have is better. It's worse in almost every sense.
So like a 4-hole aggregate you would enjoy more.
Sure. Do exactly what the Open Championship does, or add a hole more than they do, because you don't want every. Well, I say you wouldn't want everyone to be the same, but the PGA Championship and the Masters are the same. So just whatever the Open does, have the exact same as the Open. Make the 2 Opens the same type of playoffs, and the Masters and PGA the same type of playoffs.
Let's go, Yako.
It's going to be tough for Yako, although the one pick Tim has gotten right has been at the U.S. Open. So here we are.
Yeah, let's go, big game hunter. Bland.
That's
that
right.
was Bland insane. Is Bland a clique?
Yes.
I like their logo, their new redesign.
Really clean. It's really clean, isn't it?
But I like that sort of logo that looks more like, say, a country club than the Fireballs, which is like the box of some crazy truck that my kid might want to buy at the toy store in 6 years or something.
I agree with you.
Like some of them look like a kid's logo. I like the cleaner one, like the cliques. I guess the Crushers is, if you're like trying to not be clean, like be cool, I don't mind the Crushers, but the Fireball is just like children's cereal box level ridiculousness.
Every time I see the Crushers logo, I always think it's the Buffalo Sabres logo. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't hate. I don't mind it for like not for yeah, I don't mind it, that one.
So Bland, Neiman, what live guy are you picking to win, Tim?
Nobody. As I said back in December, and I'm sticking to my word, I think Tony Finau is going to win the U.S. Open. I really do. I think this is his moment. I think he still hits the ball a long way. I think he's going to have a Gary Woodland style U.S. Open where things are just going to work out for him. He's not the most talented golfer in the field. He's not the best driver. I don't think he's elite anymore, really, at any particular skill set, but he's good at just about everything. And I have this hunch that he's going to put it together here at the U.S. Open.
You can't say good at everything, or the guy that had to putt one-handed at the Memorial. Like, good at everything is a staunch, crazy position.
I saw him in person in Montreal, and he seemed to be good at everything.
He's good at one-hand putting.
Him for 3 holes in Montreal in September.
Well, that's whatever. I'm taking him. I said I was going to. I'm sticking to my word. I'm not deviating.
God. Are you talking about like we literally we watched him? Might have even been a practice round.
It was.
Hit it to 2 feet.
Yes.
And
I was so impressed.
And now
I was so impressed. And now I'm picking him as my gold pick.
Kevin, you hold out from the fairway yesterday. Why don't you pick him?
No. I've made it just validates. Look, I said this is who I was going to take because I had a strong hunch about it, and I'm sticking with it.
I love you, and I would, I'd be happy if he won, but I think this is
Go ahead.
Go Yako. Go Yako. Okay. Go Yako. Let's get it at silver.
Who are the 3 guys who won't win?
So this is the controversial one. I think Scheffler's not going to win.
Oh, wow.
Is that your number one not going to win?
Yeah, he's not going to win. I actually don't think this is a course that is well suited for him.
Which part?
It's perfectly suited for him.
When you say that, I just want
to the magical recoveries that he can make. I think are out of the bag here. You can't make them here the way you can almost everywhere else in the golfing world. When he gets out of position, he is not going to be able to make a magical shot to get out with a 4. He's going to take a 5 or a 6. And that's all it takes to get yourself too far behind. So, yes, obviously, he's the world's best golfer, but I just don't think and you saw it at the PGA, how many holes did he escape from danger? You're like, how in the name of God did he make a 4 there or make a 5 there? He won't be able to do that here, I don't think. So that's why I would throw him out. And it's the same reason I would throw out Jon Rahm. He can't win either. Why not? Far too fiery temper for this place. I know he won the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. Every hole's the same at Torrey Pines. It's not the same type of golf course. The rough is not the same type of rough. It's a very different circumstance. He hasn't been playing the world's best golf, even though he played much better at the PGA Championship. I just think when push comes to shove, this track is going to require the right steadiness, and I don't know that he's quite there yet for it.
Couple things. People like Hatton say that maybe it's just a joke, but he's kind of always fiery, Rom. This course will bring other guys to their level, which they joke is like a positive. Like, I'm always angry, Hatton. Like, this is going to make them angry, and all of a sudden they're playing on my level of anger. More important level of discourse at the moment, as the Liv fan here. On the level, like the respect scale, what do you make of this ROM top 10 thing? Because I saw Buddy tweet. It is like taking a bus, stopping off at the nursing home, picking up a bus full of nursing home people, and finishing top 10 every week at bowling. Like, there's 12 people, you finish top 10. The rest are seniors. You filled the bus. I might bet Rom this week, but that doesn't mean I'm supposed to respect that fucking stat. It's a good tweet. I wish I knew who did it. I want to give credit. ZD?
Sure.
Zola must know him. His name is ZD or something.
So that's too. Listen, I hope Scheffler doesn't win because I'm not betting on Scheffler, Tim. But of all of the top end guys, the guy who's probably going to be in the least amount of trouble, at least based on his profile, is Scheffler. He's the one who hits it the straightest of all of the top, except for Morikawa, of the top 10 guys.
And when Scheffler's in trouble, like, he'll realize by Wednesday what he needs to do when he's off the fairway. Like, he'll realize.
So. I mean, like, I'm not against Scheffler by
no,
any
but when he puts it back in play, lying two in the middle of the fairway, he's the one who's most likely to hit it to 6 feet to save par.
And on greens that are running at a 16, he's one of the. He's not somebody I want with the putter in his hand.
That's fair.
From 6 feet.
That if that's your case, that he's not going to hit those 10 footers that he saved par with all weekend part of Memorial. Here, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Part of the magical scrambling ability is your ability to confirm the putt. And I just don't have any faith that he's going to be able to do it 7, 8, 9 times. Like if someone's going to have to, who's going to be out of position.
But you can't be shocked if the best player in the world
makes
of course
not.
Putts.
Of course not. But I don't trust him as much as many other people with that.
You say no chance.
I'm saying I don't think he's going to win. I'm going to write him off for this tournament.
So is this no chance relative to odds or no chance? Because you're. It seems like you're doing both.
More so against odds. I just don't think he's going to win. I just don't think he's going to win.
Who's the third person on that list? Scheffler, Rahm, and who? Grant Snedeker?
Well, no. there are lots of people I could pick, but their odds are super long. But I'll go with I don't know. See, this is it. I don't have a strong feeling about a third person, and I don't want to force it. I don't want to force a third person I don't have a strong feeling about.
It sounds like there's someone you want to say, though.
Well, I don't think Phil has any chance, and I just don't want anyone to have to bother saying Phil and what will potentially be his last U.S. Open.
We'll throw Phil on as your third. He made the shot of the weekend. Everyone saw it, the flop shot from standing in the bunker that went in.
He can still do that. Like, he can still be magical, but like, I just hope he makes the cut. I hope his last U.S. Open, or one of his very last, if he gets an auto exemption or something, or an invite at some point, doesn't end with a missed cut. That's all.
I saw like a live bot on Twitter, like Phil fan live bot, maybe not, but I guess respect to fandom, said that shot made him cry. Like, it reminded him of, watching Phil in college or something. I found that really funny. That's not the only person I saw someone cry about sports this weekend, guys. When Cam cried when he hit Sovereignty at the Belmont, and he told us the late RIP Blessing gave him the pick. And then he was emotional after and crying. So it's okay. Crying, they say there's no crying in baseball, but it's okay to cry in sports.
What do you think is cleaner, that Cleeks logo or me, according to Cam's girlfriend?
Yeah, she didn't know how to, I guess, say well put together. So she just one by one named a lot of your like clean cut highlights, like your teeth or your jawline or your hair or you're just, I don't know, you're well kept. And she lives with Cam. So what are we saying here?
It was just, I'm just like, Pat, you're just very clean. It's like, I did just take a shower. That is true. I hope I don't smell terrible.
Yeah, you wouldn't eat like chicken from under the couch from like
or
when it was.
I listen, the people there who are there will know. And you two were on stage with me at the time, but to spoil a little bit of the live show, Cam came out eating a bowl of rice. That was my rice that I didn't finish 3 hours before.
Listen, dinner was great on Friday. It was a memory of old times where like some of my food was Cam's food, but there was more than enough food to go around. I was always happy to give Cam some because he like looks at what you're eating and he keeps like complimenting it. So it's like, here you go, man. But I loved it. I loved every part of it. I'm always happy to share my food with Cam.
Tim, do you have the ability to pinpoint the good rice versus the bad rice like Cam can apparently?
I do not have that talent. It's preternatural, I guess. I don't have that ability.
And one thing,
anyway, folks, I gotta take off here.
All right, so I want to thank you again for coming this weekend. Thank you to everyone who showed up to the live show. That was Tim and Cust. I was having some problems sleeping. When anyone has little kids, that's probably going to be the case. They'll come up, wake you up in the middle of the night for no real apparent reason. So you're waking up, you're going back to sleep, you're waking up, going back to sleep. It's not the best sleep. I put my Apple Watch on and tried to track my sleep tracker. It was not going well. A lot of that changed once I got a Helix mattress, however, because I was able to customize it to both what I want, what my wife wants, and now we're sleeping throughout the night. The little noises that would just normally wake you up when you're not sleeping well, no longer the case for me. No more back pain either, because I'm actually sleeping on a mattress that is perfect for what my back demands, which is a lot because I have a terrible back. The one that I had before my Helix mattress, I spent a lot of money on it. It was bad after like 2 years. It had like the divot in it from where I sleep. It was unflippable. It was a horrendous waste of money. Not only is the Helix mattress I have now way better, it was also significantly cheaper. And it just showed up to my door in a box. Very easy to get onto my bed frame and just start using right away. So you can have all your problems solved with a Helix mattress as well. So you can go to helixsleep.com/mayo for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/mayo for 20% off site-wide. Be sure to enter my name at the checkout so they know that I sent you. helixsleep.com/mayo. I've been telling you about Skims for a while. The men's brand is amazing. It's all I'm wearing now. I bought enough pairs of Skims. They sent me some at the beginning. That's how they get me. They sent me 2 or 3 pairs, and I was like, these Skims are amazing. I'm going to wear these all the time. But I only had 3 pairs. So then I had to go use my own promo code at Skims and go get more pairs. So I'm covered for at least 2 weeks because that is how comfortable they are. It's not only protecting the junk. The junk is in a top-notch position in my skins. They're not sagging around. I'm getting old. I'm past 40. As soon as I turn 40, I think my balls drop like 3 inches. It's no good. But I'm playing a ton of golf right now. They keep me comfortable on the course. And I'm a connoisseur of tight pants. Shocking to the viewers, I know. But you don't want to get bunched up. You wear boxers, it gets clumpy. Looks like you have a fupa on the go. That ain't no way to live. You want some Skims to make sure that everything is a sleek look, both personally and how it fits, and aesthetically for when people see it. You don't want that bunching up. It just looks weird. It's uncomfortable. It's nothing that you ever have to deal with again if you have Skims. So shop Skims Men's at skims.com and let them know that I sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select the Pat Mayo Experience in the drop-down menu that follows. Skims.com/Pat Mayo. The time has come to get some new golf clubs, and that means one thing. Heading over to the local PXG store for a fitting. They make the best golf clubs, period. My handicap has remained about the same this season. I've had the transition from my old irons over to PXG irons. I can tell you the main difference for me is that I'm starting to hit the ball like a player of my handicap is. I'm not just relying on short game and putting anymore. My old clubs had those thick, backs, and my 7-iron would go anywhere from 160 to 210. There was no control over the club. With my new PXG irons, I can flight the ball the way I want it. If I want to hit a draw or a fade, I can do that with these clubs. There is so much customization that goes into it. That's why the fitting was so important for me. And the fastest way to improve your performance on the golf course is a PXG fitting. PXG fitters are highly trained, highly experienced, incredibly experienced even, and have a deep understanding of how to optimize your clubs to get the most out of your swing. That's what they did for me. My game is about to go over the ledge. My goal this year was to break 75 and to shoot at least 1 under on a 9 somewhere over the course of the season. I've been flirting with it already. Frankly, it's my short game and putting that have been letting me down. Now that I hit my iron so well, I'm in spots that I'm just not normally used to being. Hitting 4 irons and 5 irons and skying them up, getting them to land softly is just a whole new world to me, and it's all thanks to my PXG clubs. Plus, PXG fittings are educational and fun. So schedule your fitting today, and for a limited time, you can save up to 20% on your entire order. Head over to pxg.com/PatMayo. That's pxg.com/PatMayo to save up to 20% on your entire order. pxg.com/PatMayo. Restrictions apply. See site for details. US Open, let's dig in. Oakmont CC. I've done the research show, so you know all about the course. Jeff, I even played it on a simulator with my golf coach, who I think shot 3 under, and he kind of laughed about that. I did not. I played better with you on the weekend than I did during that simulator show. The moment you start setting up cameras and you're like not that good at golf, your game goes away very quickly.
Yeah, of course. Like that sounds right. No one here is good enough at golf that like they're not above a round full of horrible shots.
Yeah. So we go to the top of the odds. All odds brought to you by CoolBet, by the way. If you live in Canada outside of Ontario, hit the description. You can opt into a contest to win a free trip to Cabot Cliffs and Cabot Links, where you can go buy the same hat that Cust has, apparently. It's a free trip out there, and there's a bonus that you can get if you go sign up right now. So please go hit the description, figure that out. All you got to do is bet on golf. You're here listening to people talking about betting on golf. Right now, at the top of the board, it is Scottie at plus 280. Bryson is next at 7-1. Then it's Rory at 11. Then Rom down at 19. Now, if you go to the exclusives tab on CoolBet, Jeff, it was boosted up to 11, although the number shrunk on Bryson. You can still get an 11-1 on Bryson DeChambeau under the PME weekly boost that I'm pretty sure is the best number in the world right now.
What's the number?
11-1.
And what's Rom over there?
19, I believe.
I might need you to bet Rom for me, Pat.
That's where you want to start with this, because Xander's just behind 22, Collins 25, Ludwig 29, and then you're into like Justin Thomas outside of 30-1. But there's the big 3, then there's the next 4, then there's everyone else. Like Justin Thomas is kind of a sandwich piece in between this. But you would, I mean, Cust just said Rom isn't going to win. That's probably but he also said Scheffler's not going to win. So that becomes tough. How low would Rory have to go for you to bet him, do you think? Because we're going to see a slide on that number even more.
Yeah, you're right. We should probably stay patient. I'm not like, there's no red ink with Rory. I've spoken to some friends or people think there's like red ink for Rory. I don't know. Canada doesn't concern me on its own, but like the whole run of events since winning the Masters like has to be concerning.
I agree. It seems like he put everything he had into winning the Masters, and now he's just like, screw it. I'm just chilling for a bit. It really would.
Well, I think it's multifaceted.
But he
he also put everything into enjoying winning the Masters.
And I think that there's another tournament. I mean, obviously, winning the Masters, creating the career Grand Slam was everything he wanted to do. I think winning an Open Championship in Northern Ireland would probably be another one of those.
Yeah, so it's fair to say maybe in our heads that like Rory has realized he's going to enjoy this Masters, and it will still give him enough runway to get his game back for Portrush.
That's where I would try to land on it. But that's not to say that Rory can't just show up and win. He's been, despite only having one U.S. Open, he's essentially been the best consistent U.S. Open player for 10 straight years.
Here's the thing. if it, like right now, it's not the second, like if Thursday went well, like the fact that he won the Masters will pay huge dividends. But like we're worried about him getting off the mat properly in this tournament if we bet him.
Yes.
Because like if it gets to the weekend and he's contending or in it or mixing, what happened at Augusta, I think will allow him that free reign to like literally cut it loose on the weekend. What we all maybe thought about could envision happening. The concern is like not being down 20 after the first quarter.
So you're saying that Rory isn't the Pacers, that he won't just miraculously come back?
Well, they do that a lot, but I just like, they were in the finals, so figured I'd use that basketball term. Like if Rory comes out of the first quarter in good shape and we got a good number, like we'd feel giddy. We'd feel like Cust was getting credit.
Rory has 6 consecutive top 10s at the U.S. Open, including back-to-back second-place finishes. He did miss the cut here in 2016, but it's a decade ago.
What's the biggest number now? I guess there's no point. It's got to drift.
The 11 is the biggest number I see right now.
No, there's bigger. They'll be bigger. There's already 12s, I'm sure.
I'm guessing that ends at 15 or 16.
Yeah. So let's I'm open to it. To it. I bet him at Pinehurst last year, said I'd never do it again. But
here you are.
I feel like the facts on the ground have changed a bit. But at the moment, right now, if you're asking me in like the teens tier, that 19 seems very strong versus market. And I'm considering it. And I don't know that'll be around long for me. So I'll probably need to make a decision sooner than later if I want you to hit that for me. Thanks to our sponsors, though. They were fantastic this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'll give them my money.
Well, here's the thing. It just went from 19 to 12 as we were talking.
Yeah, I knew that was wrong, but I wasn't ready to. I should have made the decision. That's my fault.
So now
I don't know if I want to bet Rom.
Okay, so Rom at 19 was appealing. Rom at 12 isn't appealing.
Less, but I still might be there. I just feel like an idiot now.
It's okay. It's fine. I feel like an idiot all the time. I gave it a winner last week that I didn't bet. That makes you feel like an idiot. To take Luke Clanton instead. At a worse number. Who missed the cut. Great work by me. Cust tried to lay out the way...
U.S. Open week's off to a great start.
Scheffler at plus 280. Is there a number... Like, how high do you think that can get? 3-1? Maybe 350 somewhere? Would probably be... That's a pitcher. You just have pitchers like...
recovery mode. Pitcher water. I didn't even take a cup. I said I need the pitcher.
You don't have like a water bottle? You have like what they bring you at a bar?
Yeah, I filled it up. I just said, you know what? Give me I'm taking the pitcher. I filled it up with ice water. You will not see a 4-1 on Scottie. No, if it is a 4-1, it would be at a book that like
you might not get your money out of.
Yeah, no, you could get your money out of it. I'd say like they're probably not letting you bet very much on it, but doesn't mean you couldn't have that as part of your Scottie collection of tickets. I think 350. I think one of like the made for TV books could tempt people with a 350 this week, but I honestly doubt it. 3 under 3 is my expectation.
Yeah, 280 plus 275 is usually going to be where the market is. I do think that he is the best set up. Like you can make, but we've just seen over time that bomb and gouge at the US Open. When you take a look at who ends up at the top of these leaderboards, that's where it is. It's probably the main reason that Scottie hasn't won the US Open. And Blickel pointed something out too, that if it gets to a spot where all the bombers are doing really well, and that might not be the case at this particular U.S. Open, just based on how difficult it is once you miss the fairway, that Scottie's miss ends up becoming that little tug left if he's chasing extra distance, if he feels like he has to. Yep. And I feel like that would be the big thing, and you hit on it earlier, and Tim hit on it earlier. If the 6-foot putting doesn't go as well as it has been going, then he's not going to win. Like, you have to make cases for him not to win because everything points to him winning, hence the odds.
Of course. And for me, the only case is like the case I would make to myself fading him is watching the Memorial, despite thinking no one else had a chance, he also seemed to hit every single like 8 to 12 foot par putt. And it's very plausible to think at Oakmont, he's just not going to hit them. And that is going to bring guys, he's just going to be like everyone else, not making them. That being said, the other parts of his game are also his big advantage. I'm deathly afraid of him. And the thing about it is he never seems to like, he's going to just be with the pack after the first day. Like, I don't think he's going to be a first round leader, but it's probably going to be exactly what it was at Memorial, like 2 under, and it's just going to be nonstop lurking. And if your bet is winning, part of me thinks like the only way he doesn't win is if someone has run and hide ability, and I don't even know if that's possible. Because if your guy is up a couple, like all you're doing is tracking Scottie. Like, sure, you'll be tracking the guy who's 2 back of him on his 2-stroke lead, but you'll be tracking Scottie 7 back. Like every shot, if you're running good in this tournament, you will always be aware of what he is doing. That's how afraid we are of him. You'll almost be tracking him more than your own guy if you feel your guy is running good.
Bryson is next, and he's down to plus 750, so 7.5 to 1. I don't know if I would get there at 7.5 to 1. I got there at 11 to 1, and there's still an 11 at the exclusive at Coolbet because that's what I'm giving out. So if you sign up for Coolbet, you can get the same number that I did last week. This is what we envisioned, though. Rory tanking in Canada didn't help Bryson's number at all because they flop spots on the odds board. If Rory just had a strong showing, we would have gotten the better Bryson number, and he would have remained third on the odds board. But he's won 2 U.S. Opens already, and I do think that he can use his distance to his advantage, even with the thick rough here. I don't know as much about Rory, but maybe Rory's going to be a similar case. The one thing is I actually trust Bryson's putting a little bit more, and that's sort of the equalizer here.
I'm not interested in Bryson at 750, 8 to 1. Like, of course he could win. It's just US Open, tailor made for the guy. If we're talking about 8 years from now and he's like a 5-time US Open champion, I don't even think that's that like unheard of it's not even a hot take. Like, that's how much this is his wheelhouse. I'm just not playing it at this number. I would say, as someone who was an early adopter of the PGA, had like 18 to 1 and, was like, oh, wow, like this thing was dropping crazy. If you bet Bryson at like 10 to 1 to win the PGA, I don't know how you're not betting him this week at 7, 8 to 1, Cool Bets 11 if you have access to sign up there. Like, I don't know how you're not just like how you could be getting off that. Because it's essentially the same tournament. He came in second. He was everyone's pick at the PGA, and now it's his wheelhouse tournament. And you're like not going to be there because it's like a point or two less, or because he didn't win the PGA, would be crazy. So that would be my public service announcement for anyone who was like the last people to bet Bryson going into the PGA. I think you got to stay.
I actually think the way that he played at the PGA sort of encouraging for the U.S. Open because he didn't intentionally try to play it, but what he played was U.S. Open golf. He'd get himself way down on the fairway.
Sorry. It's when you're talking is when I have a break.
I know, but Jared does the good producing move of cutting to you, and it makes me laugh every single time.
Oh,
so I can
sorry.
see it
Yeah,
in front
Jared's
of me.
the best. Jared's the best. Lovely seeing Jared puts a big smile on my face. And his lovely girlfriend. It was great to catching up with him and everyone.
The comment my wife made at the team dinner when we all went out that she was shocked that all these schlubby men had gorgeous looking girlfriends and wives. It was like we all live in a real world King of Queens.
That's a pretty funny take on the dinner.
Like everyone, like even shout out Mike who did all our visual work. She's like, "Is that really Mike's wife?" It's like, "Yeah, it's Mike's wife." She's like, Okay, here we go.
Good tell you, it was great. And before dinner was served, I had Tim sit with my wife for like 10 minutes.
Oh, no,
and
it's not that Tim sat with your wife. Your wife requested an exclusive
Yeah.
audience with Tim to talk to him for half an hour. She seemed so happy.
That was, listen, she's never met Tim before, so she's been waiting like 8 years, even though we've been doing it for 10. Like, anyhow, yeah, who wouldn't want their time alone with Tim? She'd have like bought a dance, like she'd have paid for more songs if that was like required. I don't mean actually needing him to dance. I mean, like, let me just talk to you, but like, here, like, play another song, DJ. Where were we?
Bryson's lack of wedge game destroyed him at the PGA Championship. He just did not give himself any scoring opportunities on the holes after his drive. He set himself up for perfectly, better than anyone else in the field. Then he'd hit a lob wedge to 48 feet and try to two-putt from there. Not a good strategy when the winning score is going to be -10 or -12 at a PGA Championship. If he can just replicate that this week, it's absolutely fine. As you get to 4 under, you're gonna win.
Yeah, you might win by a field goal.
Do you think it ends up under par? Because I do.
I always do. I always believe one of the best players in the world will just feel like they're playing will feel like they're playing a different course than others. That's just my belief in the talent and the modern equipment.
Lowry did shoot 7 under on the Saturday to get himself into that position. So there will be numbers out there if you can run the hot putter and match it up with your irons, which is exactly what he did. So I'm trying to think, and it's not, I mean, Scheffler is the guy from the top for this. So, but I'm not betting him at plus 275. I bet on Bryson. Rory doesn't really fit this qualification for me, although he could. But I'm trying to think of who the guy is that hits a ton of fairways, can get dialed in with these long approaches and hit them to like 25 feet and just start making those putts.
Sep Straka.
Well, I've already bet on Straka too, but of these guys.
What was your Sep number?
80.
Yeah. See, I wasn't there, but I might bet it this week. I got like a 55 in front of me.
It is still 50 at Cool Bet if people are looking for Seb Straka. It's down as low as 35 to 1 in some other places. So just keep that in mind. But of the top guys, there is one name, and you're not going to like it, who kind of fits the criteria.
No, so when looking, I think we said that, like, in speaking, we didn't talk much about the U.S. Open at all. We had other things. We're having fun. But in just our moments of Oakmont, looking at that leaderboard, I think I see like Morikawa. If I look at the behind DJ last time,
I'll give it to you.
I see a Morikawa mix.
I'll give you the guys behind DJ. Lowry and Furyk and Piercy all tied for second. Sergio and Grace T5. Kevin Na, Zach Johnson, Jason Duffner, Jason Day, David Lingmerth, Brooks, Streelman.
So isn't Morikawa like the modern day most elite player of that skill set? Like, he doesn't win. I make fun. I take my jokes. If he gags it on Sunday, maybe I'll find humor in him having to talk to the media, gagging a major or walking away from it. That would be a bad consolation if I actually bet him. But I don't. When I saw that leaderboard, like if he could hit like a 30. Not like it's 28 now, not like 2 points would make a difference. I'm thinking about betting him this week. I'm thinking about maybe even having some guys that do like totally fit the mold of that next tier of golfer. Nah, Sergio, Grace. Like, what are we talking? Like, Furyk, that was the team captain of like that plotter. I don't know. So if they're in play, let's go. And I got another one.
Oh, hit me.
Well, it's later, but I still got my Hatton futures, and I don't hate them.
I was refunded my Zalatoris futures. That was excellent news.
Props, reinvest it.
It was like a savings account. It was perfect.
But also, can't Xander do that? Like,
look,
hit it decent.
Yes, if Xander goes out and wins, I reeled off Rory's just performance at the US Open. He has the most strokes gained at the US Open over the past 5 years in total. Again, when you have 5 straight top 10s, it's going to do that for you. Xander is second on that list. And then it's Bryson, Hideki, then Morikawa and Scottie are tied for 5th. And they all just have great performances. Scottie didn't play in 2021. Morikawa missed the cut in 2021. But since then, like, these guys have been absolutely rolling. No finish outside the top 14 for Morikawa. Hideki has 2 top 10s mixed in there. Scheffler has 3 top 10s the past 4 years. Xander has top 20s each of the past 5 years. But as someone who's recently wagered on Xander Schauffele, even a few times, you want it all to come together at the right time for him. And we've been waiting for that since he had the Marilyn Manson surgery, but it just hasn't. And is that a guy that you want to bet on to win a US Open, that you need something that he hasn't done in a year to just align for him when you're not getting a huge discount on him? Yes, 19-1 is super. Maybe 22-1 will be even better, but should he be those odds right now?
So I agree. You make actually a fair point in the sense, if we're even just making this about Xander or Colin, Colin's in a bit of a dip, but he has shown his A game a lot more recently than Xander has. Yeah, you're right. It's tough to ask someone to win the US Open if they haven't really shown their A game yet this year. Like Straka, longer odd. We have seen him. We have seen some of that A game moment.
He has 2 wins.
You can make fun of me for Neiman. We've seen it. We've seen, sometimes it's hard to quantify, but at least when you beat the 12 seniors in shape, you get credit over there on that circuit. So it's almost enough to maybe put red ink in Xander, because how do you win this golf tournament not having shown it in 25 yet, like at all, really, in terms of winning?
On the research show, when I sorted by difficult courses, Ludwig popped up a bunch. Do you feel that same way about him? Obviously, we saw it at Torrey Pines when he won the Genesis, but we have not seen it since.
Yeah, I'd buy it. There's a dip coming. Like, I will. I see 28. I want more.
29 at Coolbet.
Yeah.
How much more do you want?
I think I can get more. I'm not worried about it going to 22. So
No.
like this can marinate, if that makes any sense. Like, I might bet it at the 28, 29, but I'm not worried really about it getting to 25. Like, I don't see a flood of Ludwig number dropping the money. So I think there's a better chance it gets higher than smaller. So this one I'm willing to wait out. That Rahm incident of earlier, like, I knew what the market was. That was just me being a goom, I didn't want to say the word. And I honestly think that site does cash. So you probably could have bet that and cashed it out for $10 profit. Not that would have been the move, but like, if I wanted to change my mind, that number was so strong, wouldn't have lost $1.
Looking at the weather. Now, Tambo and I will go over this more on Wednesday morning when we're a bit closer to the event. But a bit of rain today in the afternoon on Monday. And then no real rain again until Friday afternoon into Saturday, and it looks like it gets wet. Would that change your opinion on things?
Yeah, I think that would be concerning for certain players, but the draining there is like best in the world. And I'm not really concerned about the course at all.
I want you to think about 2 things. 1, what makes your father special? Number 2, what makes all fathers the same? The answer to number 2 is that they are impossible to buy Father's Day gifts for. Who knows what your dad needs? But I can tell you one thing that the vast majority, almost all of fathers enjoy: steak. Barbecuing. It's perfect. When it comes to Father's Day, some things never change. A recent survey shows 75% of Americans agree there's no better way to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. So, shop omahasteaks.com and give your dad the legendary Heartland quality he deserves. Plus, my listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917. A family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, dessert, and easy-to-prepare comfort food. This Father's Day, give Dad the world's best steak experience with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for a guaranteed perfect gifts that deliver legendary quality. For an extra $35 off, use promo code MAYO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. See site for details. Are you feeling stuck in your daily wellness routine? You're not alone on that. Our friends at Cornbread Hemp hear you. Yes, they're listening and they hear you. Their organic CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, poor sleep, or just needing a moment to unwind, because Lord knows we should be taking more moments to unwind. CBD might be just what you need to level up your daily routine. Cornbread Hemp uses only the best of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest, most potent CBD. No fillers, no junk, just full spectrum goodness. And right now, Pat Mayo Experience listeners can save 30% off your first order. Just head to cornbread.com/PatMayo and use code PatMayo at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/PatMayo and use code PatMayo. The Travelers Championship, the Northeast one and only PGA Tour signature event. Can it surpass the excitement of last year's thrilling finale when Scottie Scheffler broke away from the loaded leaderboard with 3 straight birdies in the back 9 during the final round, leading to a dramatic one-hole playoff with Tom Kim winning him his 6th PGA Tour victory of the year? Will Scottie repeat as champion? Come watch as the world's best PGA Tour players try to dethrone him. All of them competing all 4 days at TPC River Highlands. The action begins June 19th and runs through June 22nd. For tickets and information, visit TravelersChampionship.com to see the greats, including Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Oberg, and the rest. The Travelers Championship. There is only one. All right, let's jump to this next tier then. We'll go to the 30 to 50 type range, where you have your names like Thomas, Neiman, Fleetwood, Cantlay, Brooks, Hovland, and then you have Sepp, Spieth, Hideki, Hatton, Cust boy, Finau is going to be a little bit longer than that at 55. Some even bigger names on the list as well. But obviously Straka is my pick of these guys. He is sort of the best mix of those players after DJ on the leaderboard that we spoke about. One of the most accurate players on tour. He's the second best iron player to Scottie. And we've just seen him run a hot putter. He has 2 wins this year already. And it wasn't until he won Truist, because I had these futures on Straka for Portrush where I really liked him at like 100 to 1, 110 to 1. He's the only guy that I've bet in advance of the Open Championship, just because I think he can play in most conditions. And sometimes, although we saw Portrush really tailor to bombers last time, you did end up with Fleetwood and Lowry at the very top of the board, then a bunch of bombers. So accuracy players who are good with their irons, who know those greens. So a European player made more sense to me. But winning in Pennsylvania already, I think, was a feather in his cap. And he finally beat all of the best guys. And I was waiting for that to happen. It's one thing to win the Cognizant Classic with 3 dudes in it, or the American Express, which is a birdie fest, or the John Deere Classic. But to go up and win a signature event and run down the best guys in the world, that meant something to me. And I still think the 50 is strong. Once we get into 35 with Straka, I don't really have a ton of interest in that. But the 50, 55, I would still make that a play for me.
I think 50 is still very fair, because honestly, I think once you get past like the high-end players, and it's like, who do I actually trust? Like, I trust him more than the whole like the whole backside of the board. I could bet Sepp Straka at 50 to win this golf tournament.
Of note, I'm looking at it at CoolBet Live right now. They still have Lowry listed at 66 to 1, where he is down to 40 or 35 on a lot of other places.
Yeah, I mean, obviously someone smashed Rom, so they realized they were mispriced. No one's hit Lowry yet.
Do you like
Catch
Lowry?
them. No, I wouldn't bet him to win. Not a chance.
How come?
I know he has an Open, so it's like the dumbest thing to say.
But you're betting Neiman at half the odds.
No, but like, I don't know. That doesn't mean I think Gary Woodland can win this week, because he's won a U.S. Open like 8 years ago.
I mean, what? Okay, I think that's a totally different story. We've seen Lowry in final groups in major since. He just
I don't underperforms. The guy is the worst Sunday player, like, I feel like we've ever seen. I think he gets a total free pass. Again, it's going to be U.S. Open. Like, he'll be playing fine. He'll be playing well. Top 5, top 10, top 20. Bet him. Bet him. But I don't bet him to win. He doesn't even trust himself late. Even yesterday, he gets rolling, and then of course he starts being Lowry on Sunday again. Total shocker. Not me. I got my own fucking guys who haven't won tournaments in 5 years to bet. Like, that's it. That's it. What's Lowry gonna do this week? Guaranteed. Let's play Shane Lowry at a major bingo. Be on the front page of the leaderboard. Yell at a volunteer. Yell at a fan. Get mad at an old volunteer. Bingo bongo. He could win. He's talented enough to win. But, like, no. I got my own guys who don't win tournaments without Rory putting.
So you have Neiman from this class. That's who you were going to bet.
I have bet Wacko Neiman at 40-1. I don't even like that he won on Live yesterday.
He wins on Live every second week, so it's nothing new.
I guess, but I didn't even need that. I didn't even need that. I don't know. To me, Wacko Neiman, at least when I bet it at 40, to me, he's as good as the guys in the 20s. He's as good as them. That doesn't mean he can win. I think his talent is there. I bet on talent. My eyeballs see the talent. I bet on talent.
So you like him more because he's going to end up being a pretty similar number to
No,
Justin
listen,
Thomas,
this is almost something I feel like I've been backed into by no one other than my own goddamn brain. But I feel like I've stand for him. I put my nuts are on the table for the kid. I was going to bet him all year. I don't love this location of a US Open for him. That's not fun, but I think everything is still coming.
Okay. Fleetwood's here. Cantlay's here. Cantlay's been a good U.S. Open player as well. Not to win, obviously. And so is Fleetwood. That's why they're still higher up on the odds board. Because they're still playing okay golf. Be one thing to say oh yeah, Brooks, he's a great U.S. Open player. True, maybe just not the best player right now compared to where he used to be. So you're going to see him down farther on the board. But would you bet a Fleetwood? You're not really a top 10 guy, but that feels like a good bet.
No. Like, am I betting at a top 10? No, I don't really. Maybe, but I don't. Unless I gotta do content for someone. I'm not a big prop guy. I don't care. I'm not smashing it. So sure, I'll put a few bucks on it. It would be at the end of a major week, I wouldn't even notice if that bet won or lost based on my account number. So I'm not smashing it, and there's just a lot of things going on. I like Fleetwood, I like Cantley. You kind of just they're playing well. They've been consistently solid all year, and you could see how this course works for them. Asking them to win is hard. Tommy Fleetwood, I said I don't like the second place thing, the without Scottie because of the variables. For Tommy Fleetwood, I'd absolutely take 35-1 without Scottie over 40 with.
Yes, I would too.
In that, if the math properly on that, I would. Obviously the variables of trying to hunt down the win and doing something stupid are obviously still in play there. But when it's a player that's truly had the inability to cross the line, that would be a guy that I would be interested in. Even if I wanted to bet Tony Finau to win, if anyone out there was doing that, I'd give up a few points over, on Scottie because finish lines can be stumbling. But I got nothing bad to say. I like Cantley more than I guess all these guys in this room. Yeah, you kind of teed on it. The 40 to the 40 range are the guys who are playing decent this year, who are good, right?
If I could get you Justin Thomas at 37-1, which is a number I see floating around, would that interest you?
Yeah, I could even get you up to 40. No,
it doesn't.
No, I don't know. I don't really have a strong answer, but I'm not at this moment. Well, it's not like I've put red ink through him on betting him or not, and sort of whittling my names down to have a betting card. I don't see myself. I could almost make the most insane statement. Said rather bet Cantley than Thomas this week. I feel
that seems kind of crazy.
Yeah, maybe. Thomas really struggling in the majors.
He also has 2 majors too, though. not a guy who
Yep.
just implodes every major.
I agree. Like, listen, maybe this thing gets even bigger. At the moment, not that interested in Thomas. I'd rather bet Ludwig at 30.
Hideki, since we've started, Hideki and Brooks have taken a tumble down the boards. They're now both behind Hatton. Hideki's been bad for a while, too.
Yeah, Hideki has these flashes, but the bad is so bad that like the great rounds can't even make up for the bad ones. And the great rounds are great, but the bad is so bad they don't even like put a dent in anything, if that makes any sense.
No, I think that makes a ton of sense. And he's still doing it by smoke and mirrors as well. He hasn't gained on approach. He's gained on approach like periodically, but a lot of it is the same sort of Sungjae problem where he's either lighting it up on the greens or just chipping in a bunch of times. I don't feel like that's super sustainable, especially for a course like Oakmont. I'd want someone who is hitting their irons as good as possible. Because even if they miss a fairway, like you mentioned earlier to Cust, that if Scottie has to punch out, he's still the guy who I feel like has the best chance to recover from that spot. If you just say everyone's going to have to punch out at some point.
And you know what about Justin? In some way, I feel the same about Rory, Pat. I'm not comparing them as players, but if I bet Justin, like I'm just deathly afraid about surviving Thursday. But once I do that and I'm just in the cluster of bodies, I'm like, okay, let's go. Now shoot your, I don't want to say Johnny Miller, but we know Justin has the ability to like score on a golf course that no one else, make it feel like he's the guy playing a course different than the other guys at times. But like Rory, they're the two highest end players where I'm just so afraid about, the first 3 hours of their tournament.
Looking at it right now, I just sorted by rough length long and looked at the past 36 rounds in terms of approach play. It's probably not the best way to do this because what's considered long and what we're going to see this week are more than likely two different scenarios. But Scheffler is the best player by far, actually, by the numbers, so that's helpful. Hideki's number 2. Mark Hubbard, shout out to him, is number 3. Finau is number 4. Lucas Glover is number 5. Glover has popped up on a lot that I've looked at this week.
That's good. That sounds like it could be helpful in, some of those games and contests, lineups, props.
After that, so like the next 10 of all players, Lowry, Morikawa, Thomas Henley, Wyndham Clark, Aaron Rye, who when we get to the longer shots, his number's a bit short. Harman, Connors, Neiman, Rahm, DJ still, although I'm sure that's counting some rounds from like 8 years ago. And then like Siwoo and Akshay. Akshay was up there at Memorial for a bit too, although his fairway numbers just seem, it's funny because his fairway numbers are really good, yet anytime that I bet on him at an accuracy course, it feels like he just misses a ton of fairways the moment he gets in contention.
Yeah, I mean the players in Memorial, you're like, oh my god, maybe like there's the weekend, like the special, the Akshay coronation, and then it's like 6 over for the Saturday. He was out there with Scottie on Saturday at Memorial. I think Scottie beat him by a touchdown. Maybe add a field goal to it.
Yeah, he adds some more to that. Richard Bland, number 14th in driving accuracy, just as a heads up.
That would be on whatever. That would be his Mona Lisa.
If Wyndham Clark winning at 80-1 was one thing, what are Richard Bland's odds? 350-1. That's actually shorter than I would have thought that they were.
And when he says like Scottie can't win, does that mean he thinks like Spieth has a better chance to win?
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, okay. You're just putting that out there for context, folks.
And he's clearly trying to reverse curse Phil and Rahm. We know.
350. I don't even see it.
Richard Bland has better odds to win this tournament than Matt McCarty, who might actually be a good player.
Matt McCarty, decent Masters.
Yeah, good Canadian Open as well.
Yep. Good Canadian Open. You're gonna have Cam on this week, right?
I'm not actually. Cam's on the DL for a few days, I think.
Okay, yeah, that adds up. That about checks out. Listen, Cam and Haynes are reuniting for the first time in years. That's like an old couple, getting back together. Who knows what ditch they found themselves in.
The
All
best
love. But
the best part was Hainzer walked in, and Cam actually started to cry then too, seeing Hainzer because
we had no idea he was back.
no, but even after he said it to Cam, it didn't register with Cam. He thought that Hainzer got on a plane from Vietnam to come to the show just to see Cam, but he'd been back for 3 weeks. Just didn't tell Cam so he could surprise him.
Yes, but Cam proceeded to tell the audience that Hazer came from Vietnam to see the show.
Cam also missed the stage 3 times.
Yes. Oh.
If people thought it was a running bit, it wasn't.
So I was going to save this for you to give Cam because he would love to talk about it because we were laughing so hard. But Pizzola's dad is obviously got a lot of he's near the top of the volunteer food chain at the Canadian Open every year. And he runs almost like the rink hole. An Underdog posted a picture of all the refs in a refs huddle. With the Underdog golf account, which we spotted Pizzola's dad out in. And then there are some great shots that Pizzola was getting sent this weekend from friends or family of his dad doing crowd work. Cam was dying. Robert Pizzola Sr., top marshal at the RBC Canadian Open. Nonetheless, okay. Well, maybe, wellness checks on Cam over the next couple days are probably required.
I did a wellness check on Cody this morning, so we're good on that.
Yes, I sent him a message. That's a whole other thing, but everyone's doing great, and everyone, I don't know, it seems like everyone had a blast.
Yeah, there was a highlight of the weekend. Cody delivering his own baby in a hotel room was probably at the top of that list.
It's so insane to comprehend. People listening, they're probably just rewinded 15 seconds
what?
to hear it again, and how casually you just put it. All I will say is the next morning, Paul showed me a picture of a bed with blood stains, and he's like, "You won't believe what happened last night." My first instinct was Kenny killed a hooker. What happened? A Kenny and a hooker had an incident? I had no idea that one of us in the group, there was a baby, that was given birth in the middle of the night. So magical PME weekend vibes, I guess.
Long shots. And what I'm calling a long shot for the US Open is 50-1 and more, because we just don't see it all that often at this specific tournament. Cust was there for Wyndham Clark, 80-1 or even 100-1 in some spots to win an LA Country Club. And reverse.
I hit Woodland.
You hit Woodland at Pebble Beach. That was 80-1.
150 or 125 or something big,
Went off at 80 that week. But it's few and far between. I mean, a lot of majors are, but the U.S. Open in particular does lean very much near the top of the board with a very specific set of skills. Even when I think Dustin was 12-1 when he won here in 2016. We just haven't seen it all that often. I think you just kind of named the two partial outliers in that regard. So it could happen. And how Cabrera won here. Not that he was 300-1 or something. He's a 2-time major winner, but where would you be looking down the board? Because I do have a few names. I weirdly think Keegan rates out great for this course.
If you're a Keegan guy, you gotta be here. Hitting it 12 feet, just getting on the green, 2-putting, going home. That's the Bradley special. When you ask the restaurant for their specials, that's Keegan's special. So if you're a Bradley guy, I don't know how you would abandon him if you're, trying to find a long shot. Harris English getting a ton of buzz.
Oh yeah.
For obvious reasons. I know Dave Tyndall, always puts out great work, and he does his 10-year trends article. And I was flabbergasted to see English essentially up there with Scottie in terms of his system, a point system, as a pick to win the US Open. And he's tumbled into the 70s, 80s to 1. He was in the hundreds, mid hundreds, 2 weeks ago. So a lot of buzz there. If Corey Connors can be clean, maybe, but I got something else from Canada in a bit. I don't think that's going to be a secret. I mean, I think that tease is ruined. And my streeter posted Hatton 75-1. So I've added that on top of my 60-1 Hattons. Does he have the mental fortitude for this? Probably not. But if it turns into like a shit show, even par, and that form, that leaderboard shows up again, but the Scottie isn't involved, like the Dustin isn't there, the best player of the world just didn't make it to the dance floor. I see Hatton in that leaderboard. And I know it's crazy. And you're just, to say this, like I said to Tim, you're literally just convincing yourself of like why the bad thing isn't bad. Like, you know, when the Chargers lose and I want to eat a McCain deep and delicious cake, I'm like, I know it's bad for you, but I got to eat my feelings. So it's less bad for me. I earned this cake. Well, if everyone's mind is going to shit playing Oakmont, doesn't that mean that neutralizes Hatton's mind always being gone to shit? So there we are. I'm a live Stan again. Terrell Hatton, Yakko Neiman.
Let's see. Cabrera was the 41st ranked player in the world when he won in 2007. Just putting that out there of where people were on the list. Was Dustin the number one player when he won? Or was Spieth still the number one player at that point?
Spieth might have been the number one on points, but in terms of like my rankings and like course fit, there was no way there like Spieth was set up to win that week as good as DJ was. But I think I bet DJ like 11-12-1. So Spieth was probably in front of him, or they were tied.
Let's see. Yeah, Dustin was the number 6 player in the world coming in that week, weirdly enough.
I mean, sort of like Tim. I didn't see Dust, like he bet Finau because he watched him hit a shot in a practice round at a President's Cup. I was like, even in the state of the catatonic state of Dustin losing Chambers, I knew I was getting it all back. The blind squirrel, the nut, we were finding it. The question is, who's finding the nut this time? Seems like Yakko to me. I see that squirrel holding that nut, that Oakmont logo. It's time. Yakko cracks a nut. Maybe Luddy cracks a nut.
Keegan I had written down. Rye I really like just based on his profile, but we're just not getting fair odds on him. He's 100-1.
What are you seeing?
100.
Yeah.
He's in that Reed, Ryan Fox. I mean, Ryan Fox has won 2 of his past 4 events. Siwoo, Berger, like Berger and Siwoo, I both think outrate really well for what I want from down here. Because what you have to convince yourself from down here is, yeah, you can take Taylor Pendrith or Wyndham Clark or Cam Young. But the thing is, in my mind, if that skill set plays out, Bryson's going to beat them all.
That's a good point.
So if you're going to go down the list, I think you need to swerve and go the other way and be like, all right, what does this one guy actually do better than the best players? Well, Aaron Rai hits every single fairway. That could be highly beneficial this week. And that would be the sort of player that I'd be looking at farther down the list. Issue becomes, Scottie hits a lot of fairways, and then you're just competing with Scheffler. But at least, hopefully, his putter runs cold or something.
I mean, I think you have made a good case, like to outline why your long shot should probably swerve profile, potentially. I do like Penrith 150-1, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, low Canadian could be there. Whatever it might be. If it turns into an accuracy fest, Nick Taylor's in good form right now, and he is Connors is the straightest hitter of the bunch, but then it's probably Nick Taylor.
But that list behind DJ last time, like, were they all great scramblers also?
It's hard to say. Scrambling, like as Cust pointed out, scrambling is predicated so much on putting at the same time. But when I give you the list of players, let me ask you if you think these guys are good putters. Shane Lowry, yes or no? Jim Furyk.
No.
Jim Furyk, I would say yes.
Yes.
Scott Piercy, no. Sergio, no.
No.
Brendan Grace, no. Kevin Na, yes. Daniel Summerhays was inside the top 10. Duffner, no.
Preston Summerhays, his son, qualified.
I saw that. Jason Day, yes. Brooks, yes. Lingmerth, no. Streelman, no. Brendan Steele, no. Andrew Landry, certainly not. So, It's just a very mixed bag of what you're going to get. Weirdly, I know he took a 12 this weekend at the Canadian Open, but during the research show, Mathieu Pavon ended up popping up a ton just with good US Open numbers. Very good from that 50 to 100 range, which you don't want your guys hitting too many shots from that range, but that's going to be the punch out spot for a lot of guys. That if you can get it up and down from there, I think if you're going to build a case for Justin Thomas, that would be the reason right there. That if guys have to punch out to 68 yards, yet still make par, that's the Justin Thomas range.
Yeah. I actually meant to say that when we were going over it with him. He's like, after Scottie, the guy who I would trust like the most to stick the recovery shot or the post recovery shot to like 8 feet, 12 feet for the chance, the good look at saving that par.
The problem with those guys is they need to be perfect the entire time. Like the guys from back down here. And if they're going to win, they are going to be perfect. I mean, that's how Glover ended up winning a PGA US Open as well. But like Pavon, to look at him, Pavon's played in 4 US Opens. He's top 25 twice, and he was 5th last year at Pinehurst.
He had a good PGA championship. Maybe his Sunday was just like insanely bad or something, but he was on the weekend pretty late. Didn't he had really late tee times, I think.
I think it was Saturday he had the late tee time. It was kind of that entire group, the final group on Saturday kind of fizzled out.
Who was it with again? Pavon,
Vegas, and someone, because they played in threesomes because of the weather. Like we kind of glossed over Russell Henley. It would make sense for Russell Henley to win the US Open in my mind.
Yeah, we glossed over Russell. We didn't put any words onto Victor.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem like he trusts himself. Even when he talks about winning, he's like, how did that happen?
I really like Ryan Gerard. And I never like Ryan Gerard. He played in the US Am here in 2021. That's sort of my short list for first round leader. I'll have those on the Best Bet show, or at least confirmed on Wednesday when we do the final betting card with Tampa before we get into the DraftKings picks. But Highsmith, Bridgman, and who did I say? Gerard all made the knockout round at Oakmont in the USAM. I feel like that, at least with the USG setup being, it's not going to be as difficult as it is going to be this week, but just having a bit of that experience. And Gerard, one of the more accurate players out there, and we've seen him play really good at hard courses. Am I betting Ryan Gerard to win this tournament? No, I am not. But there has to be some place for some of these people that I like that's beyond just a $6,100 DraftKings play.
Would you say like Sepp Straka gives like back in the day Leishman vibes? No,
I feel like Leishman was all over the place off the tee.
Sorry, I don't mean in terms of like the like comparison to almost like the game types, but just this big. I don't know. I just like this big hoss that like this shit house. I feel like
Straka gives me Lowry vibes, except he putts better way more often. Like his game, like statistically, when you look at it, actually looks exactly like Jim Furyk's. It's just you would never comp anyone with Jim Furyk because his swing is like a crazy person, and just he doesn't look like anyone. He looks like a bird.
Sungjae missed the cut up here?
I believe so. Yes, I don't think Sungjae made the cut.
Jeez,
it's been a bad run. Like the results haven't been bad for Sungjae, but his game is in the toilet. He's another guy who just keeps chipping in.
Yeah, when he makes the cut, like one ahead of the number, and then he like chips in 3 times on the weekend, he gets his T25. He's really awesome at that. I guess like Min Woo, you know, I'm a sucker for him, but I guess his like short game, like everyone's just chipping out of these like insane hosels. It almost like negates the super strong chippers, maybe.
I would think so. Like we saw when he won Houston, that one of our big things is that there's basically no rough around this place. He's going to get to clip it off the shaved surfaces the entire time, like tight lies. He likes it tight, Minwoo Lee. And
the opposite of Victor.
Yes, like that's why Victor, like you could, if you wanted to circle back to why Victor could end up being a good pick here, is that around the green is going to be important because some of the holes you're going to end up chipping out and laying up. That we just talked about, that like 30 to 75 range. off the fairway where you punch yourself back up to is going to be how you end up getting it up and down. And that could screw Victor. But if he's just simply hacking it into the long rough, I mean, he seems to be okay out of that.
Yeah. And it's just, listen, I don't think Victor's going to win this week, but beyond 50-1, he certainly wouldn't. He's one of the few players where I wouldn't be surprised if they won this week,
Yeah, so the short list names I had for long shots and like how to deal with them. Keegan, I might just bet Keegan because Keegan 80-1 is a pretty decent number. He's won a major, he's won playoff events, he likes hard courses. Kind of spelled out the case for him. I can get behind that.
And he's on the team.
Yeah, then there's no dispute. Then he doesn't even have to take himself. He's automatically on the team if he ends up winning this event. And his tee to green has been amazing over the past 4 or so months. Just don't putt yourself out of the tournament. And I've seen him play well at U.S. Opens in the past. I had him at Brookline as well when Fitz ended up winning. But if I have to take the 70 to grab the 8 places, that's probably more likely what I'm going to do than just a straight bet on him to win the tournament. But here are the names that I had identified from way down this list. And the other one I would add is Nico Echeverria, only because he hits a ton of fairways and goes unconscious with his irons from time to time. That why not? And we know that he can light it up with the putter as well, but he's also prone to shoot 27 over in 2 rounds when he misses the cut at a course this long and this difficult. But Colley, Bridgman, Pavant, Glover, Gerard, Berger, Goddard, and Matt McCarty would be the types of players. I mean, Goddard is sort of an outlier on that list, but he's from Jersey, but from the area, probably well accustomed to this type of grass, can absolutely mash it, played himself into the qualifier. Not the craziest thing in the world. Like, if you wanted to bet Cam Young, why not just bet Chris Goddard for triple the odds?
I bet Goddard last week, and in relaying my whole process, I'm going to throw up when I say this. I really think that's who bumped Fox off my final go. I'm going to just cry. We've had stories of crying this week. Reliving that, I could cry. Oh, we move on. Burger would be my favorite one. I guess Burger or Rye would be my favorite one of that that troop you named.
And they're 1/3 the odds of all of the other guys I basically listed.
Yeah, I mean, sure. And can Patrick Reed all over the map this sucker?
I suppose so. I do feel like U.S. Opens kind of mitigate what he does well.
Yeah, it's more Patrick Reed breaking a club over his leg, Bo Jackson.
If we're going to get Patrick Reed another one, it seems like he is frisky at the Masters every single year. And I know that he has not won one, but I would throw him more into the Masters Open Championship group rather than the PGA U.S. Open group.
I think that is hard to argue with any part of it. Any part of it.
That's where I'm at. So we should probably get to the quick picks and one and done for the U.S. Open. I got 2 bets in so far. I bet Bryson 11-1. I bet Seb Straka at 80-1. I see that Straka is down to 50 right now. You said they're 55 still out there. I would still bet that number. I like Seb Straka this week a lot. I'm probably going to add Keegan. I've went through the guys that I like already. I don't necessarily know how to bet them. And if I was going to go back near the top of the board, I'm going to wait for this number to crash a little bit more. But I do think, obviously I think Scottie's going to win. I think Bryson has the best chance to beat him based on the odds, hence why I'm betting Bryson. But after that, I think I would pivot the type of player that I'd want to go to. And if I can catch a Morikawa with 30, 33, I might do that.
I might bet Morikawa this week because I don't really have a clue what I'm doing. I've bet Neiman. I've bet Hatton. I like Sepp Straka. In terms of naming a guy 50 or above would be my favorite bet today. Could go Rahm. Rory could drift. Ludwig, I'm sorry, friends. I don't know. I don't have anything profound right now. I'm afraid of Scottie. I don't really trust any of these players to actually beat him.
While we were just talking, I bet Keegan 70-1 with 8 places. I want those placements for Keegan.
I don't mind that. Yeah. And then I guess, I don't know, I'll try to find, use the market, find the boosts, shop around, do what you got to do this week. I say this often. No, I'm not going to say it.
Well,
because it's just
I'll tell you this. You think about whether you want to say that or not. If you want to boost,
well,
cool bet right now, you get a deposit bonus and just hit the description. And there is a 30% profit boost on one player, I think up to like a certain limit, because all boosts will limit you at some point. But you can get an extra 30% and you can opt into that free vacation, which is something that other books are just not going to offer you. But you need to be in Canada and outside of Ontario in order to take advantage of that.
I just wanted to say, like, I want to think right now, I see myself having discipline to not just have this like full betting card or even
Jeff.
stuffing stuff at the top.
Jeff, it's not going to happen.
But you guys, some of you've been watching me for 10 years, and like that's ridiculous. Like, no chance, buddy. So we'll see you with a full card later in the week. But yeah, I don't know. Tell me in the comments, like, who you think who you trust to beat Scottie, because I don't have a clue.
One and done. Cust is taking Finau as his one and done. Interesting spot for a one and done. Of the very top guys, I only have 2 remaining. Although I don't think I've used Justin Thomas yet. So I have 3 remaining. I have Justin Thomas, Morikawa, and Rahm as my 3 potential guys. I'm going to take Morikawa as my one and done. Have I used Straka? Should I just go all in on? I haven't. You know what? I haven't used Straka for the purposes of this show. I'm already up by $3 million. I will take Seb Straka. If not, Morikawa is going to be my pick.
I'm using Scheffler.
Yes, that's a good pick. I hear that guy's very good. Although I've also heard on this show he has no chance to win. So who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, like I might flip the script and play that, chasing that other profile. And if I do, like Morikawa, I might actually bet. I mean that.
You got to see these underdog balls firsthand at Oakdale. So I brought them for me and I brought them for Cust to play with. How many balls do you think Cust went through in that round?
A lot. I heard a lot. Him and Kenny went through what I think had some trouble. I'd like to say I was pretty clean on the ball.
Yeah, I lost one.
On the ball front.
I finally smoked one dead straight out of bounds on that hole where I was like, should I be using driver here? You're like, no. I was like, screw it. I'm going to use it anyway. God.
Yeah, I thought even your good drive would get caught up on like a downhill rough slope. So I kind of did it. But you were hitting it so well. It's like I don't feel any, like, you hit what you feel comfortable hitting. So
I do feel like you have a very big misconception about how I drive the ball on a regular basis. I've played with you twice, I guess 3 times in my life. One was in Vegas that time. I played with you more than that?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, that's true, because we played Oakdale a few times when I lived in Toronto.
We played Oakdale, and then even like way back in the day, I think we played Eagle's Nest or something.
We played Angus Glen.
Abbey?
Angus Glen.
Angus Glen. But that was,
since I have recommitted myself to being better at golf, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wasn't very good. I'm much better now than I was then.
Yeah.
Also, but
I mean, I didn't play that. I played like 1 round a year at that point when I was living up there. But both the last 2 times that I've played with you, I'm probably, as Kenny tried to describe I think he was just trying to prop himself up, because we were talking to someone at the live show afterwards. He's like, Pat's flying at like 290 off the tee, driving at like 320. It's like, Kenny, I drive at like 250 off the tee, and it rolls out. But Kenny was trying to claim that he drives at 280 off the tee. I was like, I don't think that's true, man.
No, Kenny flew some monster. Kenny hit some monsters.
Kenny didn't outdrive me once all day, put it that way. And I wasn't hitting.
Well, you hit. I said Kenny hit a couple of his own monsters out there. I guess it's a bad sign for me, Pat. Like, I thought I drove the ball well. I thought I hit the ball well, but like there was one time, Tim's ball like got like 4 yards ahead of mine. And I didn't even notice that was a thing. Like, he's a big guy. I don't know, like, right? I never actually even golfed with Tim before. And he was like peacocking, like that he outdrove me.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess he doesn't outdrive many people ever. So I guess that on that one, that was a bit of like a humble moment for me.
In order to outdrive someone, you sometimes have to hit the center of the club, which Tim does not do very often.
Okay, yeah, so he's used to hitting first, but I guess he got me and he let me know.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that was a thing for him.
Yeah, he does. Like, there's a hole that we play at our home course between myself, Cust, and our other friend, Tim. And the other Tim and I take the same route on the hole. We drive it over the trees and like fade it back into the fairway. And we are routinely 110 yards ahead of Cust off this tee. So when he can get ahead of anyone, it's pretty good. And the course did set up. I mean, he's a lefty with a big slice, and I'm a righty who plays a fade, just like you. That course is designed for righties who hit draws or lefties who cut the ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tee shots work for me there. That's for sure.
But yeah, there's a lot of underdog balls somewhere around that course.
I hope to find them. Lovely balls. I forget what they have to do to get some, but you want them.
Yeah, give me your favorite long shot in the comment section for that. I want to thank everyone again who came to the live show. It was a lot of fun. It really tuckered me out though. I did a lot of sleeping when I got back home.
Yeah. We're older now, just giving her, you don't recover as fast. Cam is obviously taking probably personal health days. It was lovely. It was such a wonderful experience and getting to talk with people after and as many people as I could. It was just, sometimes I just think, I know we're not talking to air because obviously I have a loyal, engaged audience, but I'd never actually seen it in the flesh in a group setting like that. So it was very touching and I'm so happy we did it. And it was so lovely to meet everyone who came. And I truly believe, to come, your expectations probably had to be high. And I honestly don't think anyone felt like their expectations weren't exceeded. Even mine of what I thought Cam, what the show, what Cam would do. He was a 20 out of 10. And I know Cam. And even for me, I was like, wow, he gave the people what they wanted.
We were actually having problems getting people into the room where we were because we were still setting up, but Cam and Kenny were at the bar outside basically doing their own show for 30 minutes before it started. And everyone was just out there listening to them instead of coming in to sit down.
Well, why are you going to go sit down when Kenny and Cam are doing crowd work at the bar? I'm not going to, I don't need to be in that room now. I'm not missing a second of this. So that was, I guess, the pre-show, and it was a hit as well. So I heard.
Right, that will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience U.S. Open Show. If you missed the other 3 U.S. Open shows that are already out, I suggest that you go hit them up right now. Research, Andrew Novak interview, and then a hole by hole on the sim with my golf coach, Neil Ryan, talking you through the strategy of each of the holes, where to miss, what types of players are going to do well. And hopefully Scheffler doesn't win, and maybe some of us can win some money this week. If not, hopefully you hit Ryan Fox or Desolare first round leader at the Canadian Open, and that'll keep you going for a few more weeks anyway. Subscribe, rate and review, sub to the channel, leave the comment to get into those draws, and that will do it for me. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!